we wanted to see if there's a way to actually spend less money and actually eat better. Everybody, I think, has a point where they feel full, but they still eat.
Welcome to Mean Green Money, the UNT Student Money Management Center podcast that explores everything you need to know to be financially successful in college and beyond. Today on the show, we have George Mihaila, a UNT graduate student who has developed a system for eating healthy without spending a lot of money. Hope you enjoy! Can you introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yes, hi, my name is George. I'm going to be 28 years old soon. I'm a PhD in computer science. I study AI and machine learning. I'm originally from Romania, and I'm here to help you save money, I guess.
So can you give us kind of a brief overview of your process for eating well on a budget, and then we can maybe dig into a few more specifics?
I guess this has all started because we actually had the need to save money. We actually were in a position where we had a lot of debts, and the salary that I'm getting, it doesn't cover a lot. So it was really important for us to save a lot of money. So we were kind of forced to do this.
Okay.
It wasn't kind of a choice. Mm-hmm. And then we decided, hey, even, we don't have a lot of money to spend, on anything. And food, obviously, we have to eat because now we get hungry. Mm-hmm. And I said, well, let's not buy cheap food or something. Let's not, just because we don't have enough money, we still think that we should eat well. So we wanted to see if there's a way to actually spend less money and actually eat better, or at least eat, reasonable. And that's how it started, basically.
Was it hard at first? Did you ever feel like you were deprived of food that you really wanted to eat or anything like that?
Yeah, it was. And at first, it felt like that, probably a few weeks. But then I kind of realized, just giving up like snacks or stuff that, is just like a compulsive buying, which then I realized it was kind of funny because, I would see something a cookie or something or Oreos, and I said, I really feel like eating an Oreo. And then I was, yeah, but, I don't have enough money, so, let's buy more broccoli.
Yeah. How long did it take you to get to the point where it's like normal for you to not be spending money on unhealthy snacks?
Probably like a month and a half.
Okay.
That's
so it didn't take forever before you felt good about it?
No, I guess.
So would you say it was easy for you to like differentiate from like a need versus a want when it came to grocery shopping?
Yeah. Even now we kind of started to get back on our feet with money and so on. So now we kind of spoil ourselves once in a while. But then I kind of realized, I don't feel the need of, spoiling myself that often.
Now, what is your biggest spoil yourself food that you eat?
I don't know, maybe, buy a steak and just make a really good big meal out of it. And a spoil will be even if we eat more than we actually have to. That's another thing that we realized. We were just eating more than we actually needed to.
Sure. So did you notice like effects on your health too when you started?
Yes, it was kind of weird because we were eating less, but I actually had more energy and kind of I was feeling better, just sometimes if you eat a lot, then you kind of feel a little bit tired and so on because the body tries to digest that much food. But this way I actually had more energy, so yeah.
Yeah, I've noticed the same thing. When I stop eating out and start cooking at home more, suddenly you feel a lot better in your daily life and not just when you're eating. So do you do anything like using coupons or shopping at multiple grocery stores to try to find the best deal on everything, or you just kind of stick to one place and look for the consistency?
At first, we were sticking with one place, and I've been here for like a year in Denton, and I guess everybody goes to Walmart and say, Walmart is really cheap. So that's where I started. And then I kind of started to explore it, and some of my colleagues say, why don't you go to Winco, because they have some really cheap stuff there. And then Aldi opened, and then some people talking about Sprouts and then so on. So we started exploring all the stores, and after like a few weeks or like a month or something, we kind of had like a map in our head, at least, where say, we're not going to buy broccoli from Walmart. We're going to buy from Winco because it's cheaper. We're not going to buy, tomatoes from there because it's cheaper there. So we kind of Now, when we go to Aldi, we know exactly what to buy there that's cheaper than everywhere else, and what to buy from Winco is cheaper from everywhere else. So it's kind of a small road trip when we can kind of go shopping.
You get to experience all the stores. So what does Aldi do best?
So Aldi, they have, I think, the cheapest like avocados, and we like we call the cherry tomatoes, the grape tomatoes. Usually like vegetables and fruits, they're really cheap at Aldi. And pickles, I mean, for example, pickles we buy like for 99 cents a jar, and like the cheapest one at Winco is like $2.50 or something like that. So it's just like small things that kind of add up. And canned foods are kind of a little bit cheaper at Aldi. Then we get a lot of, I eat like flower seeds in the morning. I like to eat like banana with peanut butter and so on. So all that kind of flour or flower seeds or granola or something we buy from Winco, because you can just buy as much as you want from there. So things like that.
Okay, so you kind of found each store has its things that it does cheaper than all the other ones.
Yeah.
Do you have any kind of written record or spreadsheet of that, or is it just knowledge that you kept in your head from all these grocery
At
stores?
first, we were kind of writing down and, kind of see, this is cheaper, this is cheaper. And then I guess after a month or so, then it's just embedded in your brain. It's like, now we just go shopping, we don't even think, we just kind of know exactly what we're going to buy. And we always try to diversify, because usually people, when they try to save money, they stick only with pasta and they only eat that. And we always try to diversify and say, this week we're going to buy more fruits, next week we're going to buy more meat, next week we're going to buy more vegetables or stuff like that. And we always go like, if they have an offer or something, we're just going to buy more, and I guess that's going to be the thing that we eat most that week or something.
How long do you think would you say it took you to get used to kind of that habit of knowing this is what I need? And you said you got rid of writing it down. How long do you think it took to kind of just become like a normative thing to do?
So we were going like every 2 weeks to grocery shopping, and I think like probably the third or fourth time you kind of get used to it, and it's like a no-brainer.
So how much has the amount you spent on groceries changed from before you started doing this to when you started making a commitment to low-cost healthy eating?
Yeah, at first we were kind of obsessed with this because we were trying to save like a lot of money, and we kind of reached at one point when we were spending like $100 for like 2 weeks. We always try to go grocery shopping for 2 weeks. That's like our time frame. And we usually, one time even managed to do like $90, like under $100. And we usually buy like a lot of canned food. If you buy corn or beans and all stuff like this, which is just like 50 cents, 60 cents that you can easily cook in that. And probably if you want to spoil ourselves a little bit more, we probably spend like $150, $160 every 2 weeks.
And is this just for you and your wife, or do you have other people you're feeding with this?
Just me and my wife, yeah.
So were you guys equally on board with this from the beginning, or was one of you the driving force behind trying to save grocery money?
I guess kind of equally, yeah. And everything that we eat, it's always cooked. I mean, we always spend time cooking. And at first, it was kind of a pain because you're not used to cooking that often, and you say, you get home late and you say, I don't have anything to eat for tomorrow, and you have to cook, even though you're really tempted and say, I'm just going to buy something tomorrow on the go. That was probably really hard because you kind of have to get used to like cooking in advance. And so we got smarter and say, we're just going to cook in the weekends for like a half a day or something, and then we're just going to freeze whatever we have, and then every day we just take out of the freezer and, have a meal or something.
So that makes it a lot easier to resist the temptation to go out because you have an easy meal. It's not like you have to spend an hour cooking at the end of a long day and you would just rather go somewhere.
Yeah, exactly, yeah, because you don't have to spend that much time. But now it's kind of weird because I don't even feel like it being a burden, cooking every day or just fixing something up, every day, every night. Or it just got easier. And one thing that kind of shifted for me, because a lot of people see cooking as a burden, and I just started feeling really good about cooking because I'm just kind of know what I'm doing and I know what food I'm eating, and I know that's really good for my body. So it's like it just feels good, like cook. You're like investing on you. You're doing something for you.
Yeah, I found the same thing when I started cooking more. Like, it's nice to just have that as my evening de-stress routine instead of, I have to go cook. It's like, no, I get to go cook, and it's going to feel good, and it's going to feel alive.
And like my wife, she's always like paranoid about what stuff it's inside, stuff that you buy already cooked and something. And she's always kind of obsessed with that. So this kind of gives her more control about what we're eating and kind of makes her feel better too and more in control.
Yeah. I'm sure that definitely makes you both feel better, kind of knowing more about what it is that you're eating. So what are some of the favorite meals that you've come up with?
At first, we were eating a lot of broccoli. We were trying to keep like one part vegetable, one part meat. So we would have like either broccoli or green beans or asparagus if they have it on specials. And meat, we will usually do chicken because it's a little bit cheaper. And at first, it was kind of basic stuff, like nothing, fancy. And then we kind of got bored of that, and then we started like trying new things. And right now, my wife, she kind of learned how to make it's like a tuna pie or something like that with some kind of vegetables in it. Or we eat a lot of tortillas. So we buy wheat tortillas, and we basically just roast them. And you can put cheese, you can just put some corn, you can put some meat inside and just make like a quesadilla, something like that. Mm-hmm. And that's really easy snack. And
yeah, it saves you time and it tastes good.
Yeah.
Are there any failed experiments that you've had in learning to cook more for yourself? Anything that's just been terrible?
She was trying to make like a spinach pie, and I think she tried like 4 or 5 times till she kind of got it right. And we finally had to eat the first ones that were not that good.
So you still ate all of the ones that didn't turn out that well?
Yeah, because, it was such a waste of... And we also feel bad. If it's leftovers or something or food, I just feel really bad of throwing it away. So we always try, to eat it, even though, it's... Maybe it's not that good. Maybe you can just put more salt or something. Put some ketchup will work.
So what advice would you have for people who are just starting out trying to eat healthier and save money?
I guess you gotta be really motivated, and for us, the motivation was saving money. And I guess you can also think of saving money, because having a savings or having some money put aside, in case something happens, makes you feel better, and that would be enough motivator to actually, start this food diet, I guess I would call it.
Yeah.
And I don't know, just try it out at least for a week or something, see what happens.
Yeah. And I found that it kind of helps when you're linking 2 different goals together. It's not just that you're trying to save money, it's not just that you're trying to eat healthier, but they kind of go hand in hand. When you start eating healthier, it also helps you save money, and you're able to achieve both of those goals.
Yeah, it's always good to have a goal or just have a motivation. If you're just trying this, like, I just want to try this because I heard somebody, then, a few days after that, it's not going to work.
Well, I tried eating healthy, for me, and something I, struggled with was, kind of like what your wife, she kind of, stresses on, what's in the food. How did you, know when it comes to... Because you know how cheaper food sometimes, it could be, preservatives and all that good stuff, like frozen canned food. How did you know which one was the right one, and which one was, the right one for your butt when it came to canned goods or frozen goods?
So, the thing is, if you start with, really, really raw ingredients, then you know exactly, what you have in your food. So, the most raw that you can start with, then the better it is. So the more cooked and the more processed food, of course, the more bad stuff they have in it. And usually when we buy something, I will always look at the ingredients. And I'm not an expert and just see if it has, corn syrup or stuff like that. I just look how many ingredients it has. If you buy some donuts, let's say, and they have 2 pages of ingredients, that's crap.
Yeah.
And that's the kind of stuff that I look for. If I want to buy something, if it's something really basic and it has more than 5 or 6 ingredients, then I know, that's not good for me. That's crap. That's a really easy way of going.
Easier way of
looking at it. And my wife, she knows a lot more. She's actually studying nutrition and all that, so she probably knows more of what ingredients to use and all that. And I kind of tried to reassure her, because there's like a limit. Because you can be really paranoid, even doesn't matter what diet you have, you can always be paranoid about stuff. Because she was saying, okay, we try to eat more vegetables, but a lot of vegetables, they're sprayed with different kind of stuff, or they're modified genetically and stuff like that. And I say, yeah, look, but you can't be that paranoid. That means you have to just, move out of farm and just raise your own stuff.
Yeah.
But I guess there's a limit, where you can be.
Sometimes, it can be hard to figure out what that limit is. Is it worth spending more money to get organic groceries, or do I have other things that I want to do with that money? And it can be kind of hard to make those decisions sometimes. So how did you kind of approach those decisions with her and her concern? When is it appropriate to buy something more expensive that might quell some of that paranoia a little bit?
We would always start as Sprouts, because I guess that's where a lot of healthy stuff are, and we see what kind of offers they have there. And a lot of times they had cheap vegetables that are way cheaper at Walmart and Winco and so on. So we always start there, because I think they're a pretty good choice. And I know I was talking with her, and she was saying that even if you buy apples and they kind of sprayed with some stuff, even if you wash it, there's still some there. It's already in the fruit, so there's nothing you can do. And I think there's a limit on how paranoid you can be about that.
Yeah, and an apple with a little bit of pesticides is probably still better than Oreos, right?
Yeah, that's definitely, or maybe.
Yeah.
Still kind of question, yeah.
There's a lot of ingredients in Oreos, so I assume.
Because I guess in our society, it's really hard to have some control on what kind of food you're buying. Even though you're cooking your own and doing what me and my wife are doing, it's still hard to have control on that.
And you said you were from Romania?
Yes, we're both from Romania.
Okay. Are there differences that you've noticed in how people approach grocery shopping or cooking and eating food here versus where you're from?
It's really weird, because in Romania, if you want to shop, and the way you shop here, like to eat healthy and buy a lot of vegetables and all that, that's actually cheaper to go there. It's really cheaper to go. We have we go farmers market, and it's way cheaper to go there, farmers market, than to go at a supermarket or something and buy stuff. So it's actually cheaper to eat healthy there, which is kind of weird.
Okay.
Yeah, that's actually the same thing. Like I'm Lebanese, and when I went to Lebanon, it was actually like the same way. And it's also, the cool part is you don't waste as much food back home. Isn't that right? You kind of learn. Exactly. People over there learn how to ration their food. That way, you're not overcooking. You cook for 5 instead of just 3, or whatever the case may be. That's something that always stands out.
Yeah, like and the way I was taught, like my mom would just cook maybe once or twice a week, and she would just cook a really big pot of soup and then really a few other types of food, and we would just hold this for like the whole week or something like that. And I think a lot of people can save money on food here if they just eat as much as they actually need. Because if you don't do any workouts, or if you don't run and all that, you probably need half of the food that you're actually eating. So that's a big waste.
Yeah. If there's somebody listening who's like, wow, I probably do eat twice as much as I need, what are some of the first steps to kind of getting that back to normal and being okay with eating less than you used to?
It's for me, it was a really simple exercise. I would start eating, and then everybody, I think, has a point where they feel full, but they still eat. They still continue to eat because I still have a few. I just got another bite of a sandwich. I'm just gonna finish that. And I started saying, no, I'm just going to leave that last bite, or, that last piece of meat or whatever. I'm just going to leave it there. I can just put it on and eat it tomorrow or something else. And if you start really slow, then maybe in a few days or a few weeks, you're going to end up realizing that you're eating way less than you did before. So I think you got to go, baby steps. Don't try like a big step and say, today I'm just going to eat half of it. No, because then you might going to have a lot of cravings, and it's not going to work out.
Yeah, definitely easier if you take it gradually instead of just, bam, trying to cut your eating in half, and then you're hungry and cranky and all of that fun stuff.
And I think a lot of people realize that sometimes you just eat not because you're hungry, just because you feel like eating. Yeah, it's just something to do, exactly.
Yeah.
And I usually try to spend as less time home, because usually when I spend a lot of time home, I'm always, feel the need of opening the fridge and whatever it's in there.
Yeah, you get kind of that bored walk around the kitchen, or, oh, it's noon, it's lunchtime, whether or not I'm actually hungry.
Yeah, like, I kind of just have a snack, and then you say, oh, well, at 4 o'clock, I always have my lunch, So even though you had a snack, 10 minutes earlier, you still
Yeah.
So yeah, just try stay busy and do other stuff until I actually have to eat.
So did you go through an adjustment period when you moved to the United States and saw, oh, like, this is how people eat here, where you were kind of started eating like people who have been in the United States longer, and then you realized, ooh, this is not working, when you had to save money?
It was kind of a change to my body that I kind of felt, because a lot of stuff when I moved here were really sweet. I mean, even the bread, everything was, that was my biggest shock.
Yeah.
Everything
Americans
was
like their sugar and everything.
sweet. Yeah. And that it was a pretty big shock for me. And then the second shock was okay, now I have to start learning how to cook, because I never cooked for myself. I always had my mom. My mom would never let me cook, even though I wanted to help her. And no, get out of the kitchen,
Yeah, foreign moms are like that.
Yeah, they're like that. It's not like they don't want you to learn. So they want to cook for you, because they make them feel good. And then so I realized, okay, I have to start cooking for myself. And, it didn't went well at first. I mean, there was a learning curve for that.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was nice. And now I like cooking. I like to try stuff. And I like, because I have a lot of Indian colleagues, and I always like to try different recipes or food from other countries and all that. And I had a lot of friends from Jordan.
Yep.
And really good food, and I learned a lot of things to cook from them. And yeah, I'm really open-minded when it comes to food. I really like to try stuff. Doesn't matter what it is.
Though Mediterranean food, if you make it, if you're actually making it, it's actually not as expensive as how much you pay for it, like at a Mediterranean restaurant or something. So
Yeah, it's really nice.
Have you ever had, I know you and your wife, you said we're on the same page, but anybody else that you cook for or eat with, or social times when it's expected that you all go out for a nice dinner, have there been any kind of ramifications in your social life with eating this way?
Yeah, so because we're eating way less than we did before, we realized that if you go to a restaurant and if each of us buy a meal, we won't even finish that meal. I mean, if we buy a meal and we split it, that's perfect for us, which that kind of turned out, I guess, great. And for cooking for other people, I had some friends that visited me last year, and they were kind of on the same page with us, so that wasn't a problem. They were kind of a little bit really careful with their eating. But the good thing is that it started to rub off on my American friends, because I kind of told them what I'm doing and I feel better and so on, and they say, okay, well, what do you eat in the morning and so on? And, well, look, I just have some peanut butter, I have a banana, I always try I always eat it a banana and peanut butter, and then I can mix it up with seeds and stuff on. And they're really cheap, to do that. And actually I had a problem at first, because I couldn't find something that I could eat in the morning that's really light, really easy to make, and, just could kind of have it on the go. Because I guess a lot of people just fry some eggs and bacon and so on, pancakes. For me, that takes too long. I just want something that's done in a minute or two. So I just grab a banana, and I kind of get my fork and I kind of smash it, and then I put a little bit of peanut butter and I kind of mix it up. And yeah, either I put oatmeal or I put different seeds and so on. And sometimes I use frozen fruits with it, and it just tastes really well, and it's pretty healthy.
I'll have to try that, because I'm one of those people who, if I make breakfast in the morning, it'll be eggs. But then, I can only make breakfast if I have 20 minutes to spare. So
yeah, exactly. Yeah,
try out.
We only cook breakfast in the weekends. We always have a really good omelet with a lot of vegetables. We probably have only 2 eggs, and probably we use a lot of vegetables. And
yeah, so it sounds like you've definitely been able to find ways to eat really well, be healthy, and not spend a lot of money on it.
Yeah, exactly. And one thing that I do once in a while, I try at least, well, not at least, but around 2 times a week, not eat anything in the morning. Try to keep at least 12 hours or 13 hours, 14 hours, kind of a fasting, or at least, drink water. This also helps. I was talking with other friends there, and I see a lot of people doing this. Kind of a short fasting, I guess.
Yeah. And does that help with the psychological part of it too, is realizing that, alright, I can skip a meal and I'll still be fine. I don't need to eat just because it's the norm to eat 3 meals a day.
Yeah, exactly. And I guess the easiest part is just to, I guess if you skip breakfast and then you kind of take a really late lunch, it's really hard to it's really easy to start eating late than to just stop eating early.
Yeah.
Because you just wake up, I guess, probably first couple hours you're kind of hungry, and then you kind of forget about it. And then, I have work, I have school, I have that, and I kind of forget about it. And then at 2 or 3 o'clock I have lunch. And I feel great, and it kind of feels like your stomach is smaller, it's the right size.
Yeah, but if you try not to eat in the evening, that's the time when you're sitting at home, you might get a little bored, you're wandering out and seeing what's in the fridge. So it definitely sounds like morning would be an optimal time.
Yeah, at least for me, I guess and that's another thing. I guess people have to try different things, because I'm not saying that you have to do it this way. It's just try different ways, probably 1,000 ways, and maybe you're going to find one that's perfect for you.
Is there anything that we haven't thought to ask you that you want to share with anybody who's listening, trying to eat healthier?
I guess it's really important to work out, to do some kind of workout. Doesn't matter how much.
What is that for you?
For example, sometimes I don't feel like doing at all workout, and even if I do 5 sit-ups, that's
Mm-hmm.
That's better than nothing. I always say, even if I do 5 or 3 or 2 or 1 even or something like that, it's always better than just doing nothing.
Yeah.
Because I think a lot of people feel like, just got to start sweating and so on. It's good only if you're doing like a minute or something. Even if you run, I just run 5 minutes, a few times a week, and that's always better than nothing.
Yeah, and it's the same idea that you were talking about with food, kind of starting slow and taking those baby steps. With working out, it's just doing 5 push-ups. You don't have to commit to a full 60-minute super intense workout in order to see the benefits of moving more and living a healthier life.
Yeah, exactly. And because if you start really small, then it kind of builds up. Then you kind of want to work a little bit more, want to kind of do more sit-ups, want to do more push-ups, and then so on. But yeah, it doesn't matter how many, just do it. Yeah.
You pretty much summed it up. I mean, that's definitely respectable how you managed to eat healthy. Because like you said, here it's a little opposite from back home. It's more expensive to eat healthier, which is the wrong ideology. But here we are. So it's definitely respectable. I didn't think it was possible, but here, this man is in front of me telling me right now that it's definitely possible. So kudos to you.
And I guess another thing. Before we started this, because my wife moved here last year, and before that I was kind of more obsessed with going to the gym and working out and building up. So I kind of started taking proteins and all those powder stuff, and I think I took for almost 2 years. So for almost 2 years, almost every day, I had in the morning a milkshake, and I would put some powder, put a banana, put some peanut butter. And I just thought that maybe that was the best. That I always needed a lot of proteins to kind of build up and build muscle. And at some point, maybe that was true. I mean, there were some good results. But then after that, I got a really digestive problem, really big problem after that. I was getting heartburns and things like that. And I guess drinking the same thing for 2 years kind of affected my digestive system, and it was a pretty big hit. And then since that happened, I kind of changed and moved towards more vegetable, more of a balanced diet. I think that's way better, because I guess probably mostly guys, they just want to get as much protein as they can, but you can get a lot of proteins from vegetables too.
So I know most of this conversation has centered around groceries, but you mentioned you were just trying to save money across the board. Were there any other areas that you focused on when trying to save money besides groceries?
Yeah, I guess it was electricity. I guess we were using our car less, but less gas.
Okay, so taking the bus, turning off the lights, that kind of stuff?
Yeah, kind of basic stuff. And then we didn't have any other options than that, because, I guess our life is pretty simple right now. That's pretty much it.
Yeah, well, thank you so much for letting us interview you.
Well, thank you for
sharing your
me.
Wisdom with the UNT student body.
Thank you for having me. Yeah.
Any final words of wisdom or anything else you'd like to share?
Always start small. Always have a goal, I guess just don't give up, or at least don't give up that easy.
Once again, that was George Mihaila. The Student Money Management Center is your on-campus resource for all things personal finance. More information can be found at moneymanagement.unt.edu or by stopping by our office, Chestnut Hall 313. Any feedback or ideas from the show can be sent to money.management@unt.edu. If you enjoyed the show, please spread the word to your fellow students. Thank you for listening, and I hope you have a wonderful week.